The Saiyan race and nationalism. Disclaimer: the following is an analysis based on my opinions. You are all welcome to your own opinions and responses to the following video essay. Who are they? The Saiyan race. Who are they, and why are they such a patriotic group of people? A brief look into online forums, and it appears the Saiyans are often compared to the Aryan race. The Saiyan race is described as a warrior race. They are essentially human appearing but hold slightly different physical characteristics such as crazy hair that always stays up.
Why isn't your hair all shaggy too?
A pure Saiyan's hair does not get shaggy. It maintains the same shape from the day that he is born.
What do you know? I never noticed.
As well as a tail. Some have opted to have it removed. Acquiring a tail qualifies one the ability to morph into a great ape upon a full moon. Saiyans also have the ability to become Super Saiyans, a transformed golden fighter with super abilities, additionally staying youthful longer than humans. The Saiyan race is also renowned for two major customary factors: big appetite for food and the desire to fight and constantly improve. Food and fight and never mind. Their nationalism and pride is seemingly akin on some level to white nationalists today, the difference being an almost demigod abilities in contrast to... The Aryans are described as blonde hair and blue-eyed Nordic beings. According to one fascist dictator of the past, every manifestation of human culture, every product of art, science, and technical skill which we see before our eyes today is almost exclusively the product of the Aryan creative power. This very fact fully justifies the conclusion that it was the Aryan alone who founded a superior type of humanity. Therefore, he represents the archetype of what we understand by the term man. Now, I won't state that all ethno-nationalism is bad or wicked, because that would be a false statement. A more accurate definition, which many still swear by today and follow in a cult-like manner, comes from the book Mein Kampf. If we divide mankind into three categories: founders of culture, bearers of culture, and destroyers of culture, the Aryan alone can be considered as representing the first category. It was he who laid the groundwork and erected the walls of every great structure in human culture. Only the shape and colour of such structures are to be attributed to the individual characteristics of the various nations. Unlike the Saiyan race, who is more primitive in nature as well as urges, they have not founded a single culture. They destroyed their own first planet based on an inability to get along, which led them down the path of locating a new planet and attempting to rebuild and preserve the Saiyan ways, which again resulted in their own destruction years later. Pride. I do not fault any racial group their reasons to be proud of what came before and what they are. Be proud. Be patriotic about your culture and what's been done to assist society further, but holding a position in arrogance makes one angry, as well as lacking empathy for your fellow man. This is a clear identifiable trait that many National Socialists and followers today held toward the lowly Jew or mixed race individual.
You! Here, now. Move! Take this boy to the outhouse in the back garden. There are some tyres in there. He will select one. You will carry it wherever he asks. Do you understand? Well, little man, what are you waiting for?
So we can be together forever.
There's nothing like a little fireworks when you say goodbye. Huh, they're moving too. Nice touch. I think we've made the universe a cleaner place today.
Arlia deserved what they got. I just hope Earth is a lot better than that planet.
Just as the Saiyans hold toward most creations in Universe 7, as well as Saiyan hybrids. According to Dragon Ball Wiki, it states the following about attitudes Saiyans have about crossbreeding. Based on Vegeta's initial disgust and animosity towards Gohan when he first learns about the half-breed's unusually high power level, it is strongly hinted that Saiyans were adamantly against reproducing with creatures of another race and bearing hybrids. It is also possible that the Saiyans viewed hybrids as abominations and insults to their race. However, it should be noted that Nappa suggested the idea that they could repopulate the Saiyan race through reproducing with Earthlings to create hybrids, even suggesting that hybrid offspring had potential to become Super Saiyans, which was later proven correct by Gohan and his counterpart Future Gohan, as both Trunks and Future Trunks achieved it after their respective timelines' incarnation of Gohan. However, Vegeta rejected Nappa's suggestion outright.
それにしてもカカロットの息子の戦闘力はサイヤ人の子供と比べても異常に高いな。
なんかの間違いじゃないんですか？
いや、間違いなんかじゃない。現にラディッツのやつはあのガキの一撃で大きなダメージを食らってしまった。どうやら我々と地球人との血が混じり合うと強力なパワーを持つ雑種ができるようだな。
スーパーサイヤ人ってとこか。なるほど。我々がそんなやつをどんどん増やせば再びサイヤ人の天下も夢ではない。
冗談じゃない。そんな奴らが成長してさらに力をつけていってみろ。今度は俺たちの立場が危うくなる。
Only to ironically end up in a relationship with Bulma that accidentally led to the birth of Trunks. One can be an ethno-nationalist without the arrogance and hatred for other races, and many are this way, yet many who claim preservation of their own race have oftentimes sought companionship and comfort in the arms of a woman who is not considered to be of the same ethnic group. Conviction and consistency is often lacking in these ethno-nationalist false prophet circles. Numbers. Vegeta ultimately has a change of heart upon his union with Bulma and his son and daughter Trunks and Bulla.
Boy, we sure got some strong-willed women, don't we?
It's rough. Well, some of the time. To be honest, I like her feistiness.
I hear you, Vegeta. That's the same reason I'm with Chi-Chi, too.
We're wired that way, didn't you know? Saiyans only like strong women. That's it. That explains everything.
Saiyans are a rarity among the universe, with only a sprinkling left from a planet that once inhabited an entire population. So their reasoning for the level of pride that they clasp so intently is partly based on there being so few of them, as well as the fact that Vegeta, the Saiyan prince with the most pride, is also of royal blood, and with so few left, it is certainly justifiable to have a race to be so prideful. Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Goten, Bulla, Broly, and Tarbell are all we know of regarding living Saiyans from Universe 7. However, it is rumoured there is a hidden revised homeland called New Planet Saiya with more full-blooded Saiyans as well as other hybrids. Now, in the case of the current white nationalist pride, much of it is comparable to the Saiyan state of affairs, as it is accurate that the white man is the minority amongst the population on this planet. Certain white people are of the opinion, which is justified, that there needs to be an effort to conserve the people who remain, as with more miscegenation their homogeneity might disappear and so their legacy along with it. This does not redeem those of their superiority complex and foul treatment of others, but it does somewhat rationalize their understanding. Histories. The Saiyan birth world was from a planet called Sadala. However, due to a civil war, it resulted in the decimation of said planet, and so a new planet was conquered, known as Planet Plant. They had a native human-like population known as Tuffles, who permitted the Saiyans to live there side by side. They were smaller in stature and more intelligent than their Saiyan counterparts. They managed to build skyscrapers, formulate impressive infrastructure, and technology that assisted them in detecting one's strength. Technology that would later be stolen. The Tuffles and Saiyans managed to live side by side cohesively, but as with Planet Sadala and the natural instinct of the Saiyan race, a war was inevitable. Saiyans were jealous of the accomplishments and technological advances of the Tuffles, so this resulted in the destruction of an entire peoples. Based on the full moon that turned them into the giant great apes, upon this occurrence, they renamed the planet Planet Vegeta, and King Vegeta moved forward. I cannot help but align this with a nation that is making excellent technological advances, with neighbors who show hatred, jealousy, and contempt for their successors. Does this remind you of anything? Anywho, it seems unusual for any collective to assume pride by initiating the destruction of others, but this is exactly how the Saiyan pride works. New beginnings. Vegeta has long been the character with the most four-dimensional story arc.
Vegeta? I don't understand. You've never allowed anyone to help you before in your life. Why start now? Why poverty?
Because I wanted him to reawaken the evil in my heart. I wanted him to return me to the way I was before! I was the perfect warrior, cold and ruthless. I lived by my strength alone, uninhibited by foolish emotion. But slowly, over the years, I became one of you, my quest for greatness gradually giving way to this life of mediocrity. I awoke one day to find that I had settled down, formed a family. I had even grown quite fond of them. Would you believe, I almost started to think the Earth was a nice place to live. Do you understand now, Kakarot? That's why I needed Babidi to set me free, by releasing the evil in my heart. He has freed me of these petty attachments. And I'd have to say it feels pretty good.
He went from proud, sadistic destroyer to arrogant fighter / family man to protector of humanity and a kind, giving person, which he demonstrated in Dragon Ball Super with people of the future.
Oh, slow down. We'd be honored if the Great Trunk stayed here, right?
Sit with us, Commander Trunks.
All right, make room. Out of my way. Let's go, move it.
You know what he's trying to do?
No.
Even so, he wishes to make amends for his sins, such as his crimes towards the Namekians. It is instinctual for Saiyans to be brutal, but it does not mean that they are incapable of having empathy. In Goku, we see an innocence and naivete that tends to infuriate Vegeta, yet he still admires Goku.
You wouldn't happen to be talking about Bulma by any chance? Oh, you are, aren't you? You idiot! How could you? Don't you have any sense at all? Let him kiss your woman!
But she's not near as pretty as Bulma is, see? It's a compliment!
You showed mercy to everyone. Even your fiercest enemies. Even me. Yet you never fought to kill, nor for revenge. Only to test your limits, and to push yourself beyond them, to become the strongest you could possibly be. How can a Saiyan fight like that, and at the same time be so gentle that he wouldn't hurt a fly? Oh, it makes me angry just thinking about it. But perhaps it is my anger that has made me blind to the truth for so long. I see it now. This day has made it all too clear. You're better than me, Kakarot. You are the best.
Vegeta's own brother Tarbell was sent away to another planet by King Vegeta for acquiring these very same innocent traits as they are viewed to be weak and unappealing attributes. However, they seem to work for these individuals. It is said that the legendary Super Saiyan known as Yamoshi was one of the first to realize that the Saiyans were worth so much more than merely brutal destruction. In fact, in Universe 6, the Saiyans on that planet are more so protectors of the universe, so the love of fight is utilized to benefit others, whereas in Universe 7 it has brought about their own careless destruction. Granted that Frieza, under the rule of Destroyer God Beerus, was instructed to destroy the planet as there was fear that they could surpass the power and strength of employed destroyers, as well as the fact that Saiyans at default tend to be primitive destructive forces. In this case, they were compelled to become, in a sense, a slave race at the beck and call of the destroyer dictator Frieza, as Frieza never showed respect or reverence for King Vegeta, and somehow this brought about his psychology, because once King Vegeta was killed, along with all his people, Vegeta was parented and mentored by evil.
It was Frieza! Frieza did it! After we Saiyans served him faithfully and blindly followed his every last order, he betrayed us. He disposed of our race like common trash, wiped us from existence, so that now we are all that remain. They're all gone. Your parents, my father, the king. We Saiyans were growing in strength and numbers, and Frieza feared that soon a Super Saiyan would be born among us. It terrified him.
That old story again?
I didn't know. I'm begging you, please, beat him.
He went from crying in a fragile moment of a deathbed scene to being a loving parent that sought to care for his son and his rival's son. Goku was the kind of Saiyan that opened his heart up to Vegeta by showing him forgiveness and living out his life in service of saving others. As well as always wanting to become more powerful, he inadvertently demonstrated a Christian message, which is, "You shall know them by their fruits." Vegeta turned a corner and, because of Goku, opened up an entirely new Saiyan ability that was always there but required a pure and righteous heart, which he later developed. The downfall of the Aryan pride and inability to conserve a homogeneous society was their compulsion to embrace so many different people groups that further diluted their language, food, customs, safety, and people. Immigration became a hobby of the Western world, and so multiculturalism slowly, through assimilation, began engaging with those who were not original countrymen, not of their ilk. As such, this results in mixed marriages, which produce beautiful offspring, but also an erosion of something original. A new purpose. Vegeta has managed to create a new purpose in his life, which is protector of planet Earth as well as husband and father. This is not usual for a Saiyan of Universe 7. Saiyans are not family-oriented. They are accustomed to having children and then sending them away in space pods. Saiyans are close to their teams and honor loyalty to their friendships. Whether deemed canonical or not, Vegeta served a brief run as king to the Saiyan race, but it was not authentic. Paragus, the father of Broly, had devised a ruse to deceive Vegeta and use his son's gift to exact revenge on Goku. Vegeta, whilst suited to the role, preferred writing his own story. Goku, on the other hand, is not a Saiyan who was raised by Saiyans. He was discovered by an older gentleman known as Grandpa Gohan, and through his relationship, Goku had a comprehension of what it was to have a family. So when he met and married Chi-Chi and started to raise a son, this was actually against Saiyan protocol, but Goku was humanized enough through experiences and customs that he tried his very best to be a father and love his children, which he did furiously. However, being a Saiyan makes him predisposed to behaving in a manner that is characteristically Saiyan and not human. Therefore, There are gaps of time of abandonment where Goku's children miss out on time with him and being raised by their father, but overall Goku is entirely well-intentioned. For the white man, discovering a new purpose might not be as simple as procreating and further encouraging their message. Saiyans have had to rewrite their stories because there are so few left and their destructive methods have not worked in their favor, as evidenced by loss of 2 planets. For those whom consider themselves to be Aryan, or whatever the appropriate vernacular is, the best way to rewrite your new purpose is to fight rather than complain, inform rather than deflect, because of them we are in this and that, because of them we are in this position. The social engineering that has taken a hold of society today may well promote degeneracy, pornography, sexual promiscuity, among many other things, including the feminization of our men and the masculinization of our women. Yet you embrace it, and many of you continue to promote a wholesome moral front, yet do the opposite behind the scenes. So, you fell for the social engineering, you engaged in the sexual acts that would result in miscegenated children, and you permitted your neighborhoods to be taken over by turbocharged immigration. Now is the time for action and self-reflection. You are proud of your ancestors and what they built, so now it's time to act and be proud of yourselves and what you are able to conserve, rebuild, and accomplish. Build your own communities, make sure your boys are men, and learn the value of true loyalty, a lacking quality in most men and women today. Don't become draconian Puritans either, as many mixed individuals hold the same values about family, masculinity, and working hard. I hope you all enjoyed my video essay on Saiyans and contrasting them with white nationalists and their mantra. It was about time I exercised my vast knowledge on Dragon Ball Z and used it for a political video essay. Thanks guys.